What's up, everybody? Michael Walsh here. So I was showing someone a bunch of Khamzat fights the other day, and they said to me, this guy looks like he does a line of cocaine before every match. And I said, yes, he does. And then I said, he fights like he's doing an Al Pacino monologue. And I thought that was a pretty apt description. And I bring this up because I'm seeing a lot of analysts say that Khamzat needs to change the way he fights. That he needs to conserve his energy, that he needs to control his emotions, that he needs to not overtrain during camp. And I just couldn't disagree with this more. And granted, not everyone believes that, because Khamzat has a lot of fans out there who think either that he can just keep doing what he's doing and it'll work against all the middleweights. He can just keep coming out hot, like he's been shot out of a cannon in the first round and just no one's going to be able to take it. It's just going to go like the Whitaker fight over and over and over. And then you have other people who've been foolishly convinced that he's transformed his cardio in some magical way and now he can just do what he's been doing but for 5 rounds and not get tired. They think he can do the same shit he did against Kevin Holland, against Li Jingliang, and just do it for 5 rounds. And of course that's bullshit. So I kind of just disagree with all 3 of these takes, but I really hate the idea that he should change his style. Because Khamzat Chimaev is one of the most exciting fighters we've ever seen. Like, he's probably the most exciting grappler the sport's ever seen. Like, you really need to look at people like Kleber Koike and Hideo Takoro to find, like, comparably exciting grapplers. So, Khamzat is sort of like a unique unicorn that's really fun to watch and that we shouldn't fuck with, because it's just going to make him boring. Like, imagine if he did that. Imagine if he came out against Dricus and instead of shooting a takedown in the first 5 seconds, he just kind of circles, he jabs, throws some low kicks, doesn't shoot a takedown until like halfway through the round. And once he gets the takedown, he gets some ride time, maybe lands a few punches, maybe gets the back at one point. But that's it. He doesn't do what he normally does. He doesn't maul him with ground and pound. He's not picking him up and whipping him around and carrying him across the cage. He's not just violently going for chokes the whole time. Like, that would fucking suck. It would be boring. And if he did that for 5 rounds and won a decision, or did it for 4 rounds and got like a late sub, it'd be fucking boring. It would just be another Khabib clone. He would just be a Movsar Evloev at that point. Like, who wants to see that? Like, he's great the way he is. And it's okay if it costs him. Like, I don't care if it's optimal. I don't care if it means he loses. Like, because even when he loses, it'll be cool. Like, imagine he loses to Dricus. He could win this way too, but like, just imagine the fight plays out the way I'm about to describe. I heard Luke Thomas say this fight has the potential to be like Dan Henderson versus Shogun 1. And I think that's a great comparison, both because that was a great fight, and because Dan Henderson beat up Shogun for the first 3 rounds, got tired, lost the 4th and 5th round. I think a more apt comparison would be Nate Diaz versus Conor McGregor 2, where Conor beats the shit out of Nate for a round and a half, gets tired, loses the end of the 2nd round, loses the 3rd round, gets a second win in the 4th round, and then loses the 5th, and then he wins a controversial decision. I could see Dricus Khamzat going exactly like that. And that could mean Khamzat wins, it could mean he loses. But like, and it could just not even go like that, it could just go like the Nate Diaz Conor McGregor 1 fight, where Conor comes out, beats the shit out of Nate, gets tired in the 2nd, gets submitted in the 2nd. Like, Dricus could do that. Dricus could survive for a round and a half and then finish Khamzat at the end of the round if Khamzat's just totally pooped. Like, and so what? It'd be cool to see, And it'd be cool to see if he just comes out in the 1st round and obliterates him like he did Whitaker. And if he can just keep doing that to everybody. That would also be cool. I'm not like betting on that to happen. Like, I think that will hit a wall at some point, but if it doesn't, it'll be cool to see. Like, and if that wall that he hits comes years from now, after he's defended his title like 5 times, that'll be cool to see. It'll be like Ronda Rousey all over again, where she just did the same shit to everyone and finished everyone really quickly. It was cool to see when it happened. And like, and if he loses, like, let's say, he loses a cool decision to Dricus or gets submitted by Dricus or something, like, after exhausting himself, so what? And then he goes and beats up Israel Adesanya, but then maybe he tries that on Fluffy Hernandez and can't do it. Maybe he gets tired and Hernandez beats him. Like, so what? It'll always be fun. That, like, live by the sword, die by the sword approach is cool to see. Like, this obsession with, being undefeated and being the, who's actually the best, who's the champion, pound for pound, all this kind of shit. It's interesting and it's fun to talk about, but it's not what we actually care about. We want exciting fighters that we're actually eager to watch fight. Derek Lewis was never a fucking champion. People love him. Donald Cerrone was never a fucking champion. People love him. Justin Gaethje was never a champion. People love him. Like, why do we want Khamzat to change? It's bullshit.